In the heart of the ancient world, Rome stood like the sun, rising over lands, nations, and time itself. From dust and dreams, it rose higher with every stone placed by mortal hands. Marble and fire, law and sword, an empire built not by gods, but by the will of men. They believed they were shaping eternity. Their roads stretched beyond the horizon. Their legions marched as if time itself obeyed them. Among them stood one man, Marcus Valerius Aelius, a commander of Rome's legions. He had fought on every frontier, from the deserts of Africa to the frozen rivers of the north. His loyalty was not to gold nor to power, but to an idea, order, discipline, the promise of a world united by law.
For the Legion!
When the banners lifted and the trumpets roared, Rome seemed eternal. From the marble steps of the Senate to the distant outposts at the edge of the world, every heart beat to the same rhythm, the rhythm of empire. Marcus watched the sunrise over the Tiber and thought it would never fade. He was wrong, for no empire lasts forever. The borders stretched thin, the people grew weary, and the glory that once blazed like fire began to fade into smoke. Enemies gathered at the gates, but the true danger came from within. Greed, pride, and fear. The invisible conquerors that no army could defeat. The emperors changed faster than the seasons. Gold replaced honor. Silence replaced duty. The marble of Rome began to crack, not from time, but from betrayal. Marcus saw it coming, but even he could not stop the tide. When the northern tribes crossed the frozen rivers and stormed the walls, the sky turned red. The proud city of Rome burned for 3 days and 3 nights. The statues of gods melted into pools of bronze. The voices of children and the cries of soldiers blended into one sound, the death of an empire. Marcus fought until his sword broke in his hands. He was not fighting for victory. He was fighting for memory, for what Rome once meant to the world. When the fires died, he returned to the city, not as a hero, but as a ghost walking through the ashes of his own life. The city that once ruled the world slept beneath a blanket of dust. Pillars cracked, fountains dried, the forum lay silent. Where senators once shouted and poets sang, only the wind remained. He wandered through the ruins, his footsteps echoing between broken statues and shattered dreams. In the heart of the city, he found the eagle of Rome, fallen, burned, lying in the dirt. The symbol that once crowned victory now lay broken, wings scorched black. He knelt, and for the first time he prayed, not for life, not for glory, but for Rome to be remembered. Because an empire truly dies only when it is forgotten. Yet even in ruin, something endured. From the ashes of Rome, new worlds began to rise. In the west, the Franks built their kingdoms. In the north, the Saxons carved new homes. And in the east, Constantinople held the last flame of the old empire, its domes gleaming like gold, its streets alive with trade, language, and faith. Roads, laws, and the idea of unity, the gifts of Rome, survived. Empires fall, but civilization endures. From ruins came cathedrals. From silence came the song of a new world. As centuries passed, faith became the heartbeat of the new age. From broken temples rose cathedrals of light. Monks kept the flame of wisdom alive, writing by candlelight, preserving the words of the ancients. They copied philosophy, poetry, and scripture by hand, one line at a time, so that knowledge would never die. Artists painted devotion, builders turned prayers into stone. The hands that once forged swords now raised towers toward heaven. The empire had fallen, but its soul lived on. In every book, every song, every ray of light that touched the world. Darkness faded. In Florence, Venice, and Rome, light returned. Men and women dared to dream again. Painters gave faces to angels. Architects shaped heaven from stone. Science rediscovered nature's laws. Art rediscovered man's beauty. Leonardo sketched the flight of birds. Michelangelo carved the breath of God. Galileo looked to the stars and saw order, not chaos. From faith came reason. From reason came wonder. The world was reborn, and the soul of Rome breathed again. The echoes of the empire carried across oceans. Knowledge became sails and curiosity the wind. The sons of Europe looked to the sea. Their sails filled not only with air, but with the spirit of Rome reborn. They carried crosses and compasses, charts and dreams, and sailed toward the edge of the world. They found new lands and new peoples. Some came with hope, others with hunger. But everywhere they went, they carried a spark, the memory of an empire that once believed in destiny. The fire of Rome burned again, not in stone, but in the courage to seek beyond the known. Empires rise and fall, stones crumble, kings vanish, but the spirit of civilization endures, not through armies, but through memory, art, and faith. Rome was never just a city, it was an idea that greatness is born not from conquest, but from creation. Its spirit flowed through every cathedral dome, every law written in the name of justice, every painting that reached for heaven. Rome was not destroyed, it transformed. And from that transformation came Europe, the child of its ashes. Through centuries, that spirit guided hands and hearts. It lived in the code of knights, in the ink of scholars, in the songs sung in candlelight halls. It inspired explorers, philosophers, and poets to ask what lay beyond the edge of the known. It whispered through revolutions, reminding kings and commoners alike that power fades, but ideals endure. From the fall of emperors came the rise of nations. From the dust of the Colosseum came the birth of universities, theaters, and republics. The stone that once bore the weight of empire now carried the dreams of freedom. And though centuries turned to millennia, Rome's reflection lingered. In the arches of cities, in the rhythm of languages, in the way the world still builds and dreams. Even in the silence of modern streets, if you listen closely, you can still hear it. The march of legions, the echo of voices that believed in eternity. Rome lives not in monuments, but in mankind's hunger to create, to endure, to rise again after the fall. Empires die, but civilization endures. And somewhere beneath the eternal sun, Marcus Valerius Aelius walks once more. Not as a general, not as a conqueror, but as the echo of what mankind can be when it believes in something greater than itself. For the world changes, kingdoms rise, nations fall, but the dream of Rome lives on, eternal, shining, unbroken, beyond time and beyond empire.
Empires die, but civilization endures.